Welcome to the Road to Redemption podcast with your host, Cam Williamson. Each week, Cam sets out to shatter the labels and stigmas associated with mental health awareness by giving life lessons and raw overviews of events happening around the world.
All right, what is up? Welcome back to the Road to Redemption podcast. I'm, as always, your grateful host, Cam Williamson. We are on day 17, day 2 of Amber Heard's cross-examination, day 17 of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial. Let's get it out of the way real quick. Hit the thumbs up button. You guys have been doing great. I appreciate that. All of you that are also subscribing, do that. I appreciate everyone that's doing that. Hit the bell if you want to see everything as soon as it goes live. All right, we got a lot to get into. There was a chilling. I think chilling is actually not a dramatic word to use in this context. There was a chilling audio played. One of the longest audios, I think, that have been played in this trial, where Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are arguing about Johnny wanting to leave. This piece of evidence got brought in because Counselor Vasquez, who again, crushing this cross-examination from the beginning. I didn't talk about that in yesterday's video because, as always, I do these during the lunch breaks, and they hadn't even started that yet. So Counselor Vasquez has been destroying every single insane claim made by Amber Heard. She's going, this is the claim you made on this day and this time, correct? Is trying to get her to say correct. Amber Heard's trying to do all the dancing she can do around these answers, and finally gets her correct. Okay, here's a picture of you the very next day where you have none of these said injuries. Also, you never reported these to any of the doctors. Got it. The doctors you have talked to, they all say that they saw you, you were fine, and you say everything in their reports is a complete lie. Interesting. Somebody else she accused of being a liar. Dr. Hughes. She denied, where Dr. Hughes used this in Amber Heard's defense, that she had used self-harm to cope with the difficulties of her upbringing. Amber Heard says, no. That lady's also a liar. So the most feminine, extremist bullshitter of this trial, second to Amber Heard, that everyone thought was fucking insane, now even the literal one person who's not paid to be on her side, she's now a liar too. So we've got police officers, nurses, her own lawyers, Dr. Hughes, every single person in Johnny Depp's life. So, also our own eyeballs and ears. Because every single time something is shown, they go, hey, you have no visible marks there. They go, not that you can see. And she gets that dumbass fucking, not that you can see. And that's the princess whatever, not that you can see. And that's the, I don't care. Fuck Amber Heard, dude. Straight up. They talked about, we'll stay with the bone-chilling audio. So it starts because Counselor Vasquez says, you used to berate Johnny Depp about his own son, and you said specifically you hope that his new stepfather is able to raise him as a man, because you cannot. Now, I'm a father. I'm a father who has a stepfather in a picture, right? I have a very complicated relationship with my children, my oldest, as I'm sure Johnny Depp has complicated relationships with his kids. Here's the thing. We see this. We connected MMA fighting to this trial yesterday with the ground strikes to the head. We'll compare it again. You see what happens to guys like Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington, the Conor McGregors. There's a small group of people that do it. But you see, even in the fight game, where people are physically going to get a chance to put their hands on one another, the one thing that crosses the line is when you talk about a person's relationship with their kids. There's not many things that will get a pass from me, and this is not a pass towards violence towards women at all, but I'm saying man to man. You cannot talk your way out of an ass whooping if you start bringing a man's relationship, especially a complicated relationship, with his children and against his character. Now, if he's a bad father and there's evidence of that, that's a different story. But because someone's life doesn't look picture perfect, or because they've struggled to try to use their probably only saving grace, I can tell you, as an addict, as a recovering alcoholic, I have 2 daughters, one of which I had in a relationship very similar to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's. And my kid, my daughter, especially in the beginning, was weaponized from day one, to the point where they tried to teach her early on for the first 5 years of her life that she had a different name than she really did. And all these little subtle pieces of abuse that I had to just gather and live with for years as my daughter was raised to hate me and see that I was, made out to be this abandoning father with an alcohol problem that was choosing alcohol over my kids, when that was never the scenario. The scenario was I was moving away from their mother to make a new life. Yes, I was struggling with alcohol. But I've been on a lifelong journey to figure out who I am authentically. And a part of that has been a struggle with alcohol. That has no connection to my relationship with my children. My youngest daughter will never see me drink alcohol and stuff like that. She doesn't know that. My oldest daughter doesn't know that side of me. So, my kids will never know that part of me. So it's easy for people to try to paint your past against you. And then when they try to use your kids, that should be criminal. I don't warrant an ass whooping many times. Talking about somebody's kids is there. So they backtracked from where Amber Heard says that. And they go, because she tries to say, well, this is reactive. I did this because Johnny is going at me. And she goes, okay, bet. Counselor Vasquez says, let's play the beginning. And there's, a couple of minutes of Amber Heard berating Johnny Depp. You're such a fucking man. You're such a man. You old washed up piece of shit. And then she starts laughing. Ha, 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 ha. She does this Cruella de Vil, every villain from any movie you've ever heard ever, mixed laugh. It's a little bit Joker-esque, but it's pure evil. And he keeps saying, God bless this laugh. I can't listen to this laugh. And I know that fucking laugh. That laugh is a transitional laugh. That laugh is the person you're speaking with transitioning from even the semi-grasp of reality that they've held on to during this conversation that you're in. And the laugh is watching them transition into their own wonderland of la-la. And it's the, no, you're right. You're right. You're right. And you'll notice their eyes go. They go away. And it becomes this, ha, 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 and this hysterical, almost like a hyperventilating laughter. and like they can't stop. And this weird, like, stuck expression comes across their face. Ha, 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 ha. You're right. And they'll repeat almost a mantra that's keeping them stuck into reality. You're right, and I'm wrong, and I'm the crazy one. And you can watch this flipping from reality to what they're trying to form already in their head. And I can tell you from someone who's been in the room with it, it's fucking terrifying. You understand real life characters like the Joker, the real one, like with Joaquin Phoenix, or like Heath Ledger, and you understand real twisted, fucked up characters in movies where you're like, oh, yo, those aren't so far-fetched that those are only characters in movies. Some people are so twisted and so fucking maniacal with what they do to people. And at some point, they really do lose sense of reality. And that hysterical, all I can say is sick laughter It's something that physically makes your skin crawl. It's something that puts you in a very heightened state of survival, because I think from a very primal place, you know that there's danger in the air. This person's not in contact with reality anymore. You can hear it. I didn't have to see her. It was an audio. I could hear it. The look on her face, the shake in her voice, and you could hear it. There was a moment where she's kind of like this, where she's trying not to fucking grab him. Probably because she knows she's being recorded. It sounded like Johnny Depp was closer, so he was the one recording this altercation. It was fucking scary. And then they start reading out of, this was new to the case, where Johnny Depp and Amber Heard apparently kept a love note journal to one another. It was this journal that they would write in, and it seemed to be more of a journal of Amber Heard's entries apologizing to Johnny when they would get into fights, and a lot of it is her saying she wants to change. It's a lot of the same apologetic stuff that we saw them try to put on Johnny Depp. See, you're apologizing for all this stuff. We've talked about a lot of the negative sides of the toxic relationships, but for a second, let's talk about the positive sides. And when a person is willing to be redeemable, or they're at least claiming that they're seeking redemption for something, for someone to believe that, for someone to take that and try to forgive and try to move on past something. Now, this is not a pass to excuse violence or sexual violence in any way. I'm not, you get that. But if you can try, after a really serious argument where things are said that can't be unsaid and feelings have been expressed that can't go back in that jar that you've been hiding, some resentments come to roost, that it's a problem now and it has to be addressed. Well, a lot of people don't address them. They apologize. I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't really mean it. It's a lie in the moment that make the other person feel good, and it's something that they can repeat to themselves when they're in the shower or they're trying to sleep. They said they're sorry. They didn't mean it. They said they're sorry. They didn't mean it. And they can, But what happens in real relationships when you apologize? That's your acknowledgement of a wrongdoing. And the apology is supposed to be followed with an action of no longer doing what caused the issue. Well, yes, there is reactive apologizing where you're apologizing not out of guilt for something. You're apologizing to appease an abuser. I've apologized for so many days and nights that I can't and I've apologized for things that I don't know that I've done. Because again, it's easy when you're in addiction, when you do drink a lot and stuff, they'll go, well, you said this, well, you did that on this day, and you're like, I don't even fucking remember that week. And yeah, I was drunk, so yeah, I don't know. And it's one of those things where, especially when that happens with gaslighting, you really don't know what your reality is anymore. You question everything about yourself, and up to and including the own thoughts that you have in your own head. You can literally go, did I really think that? Was I in that mind space at that time? I thought I was, but they're telling me I wasn't. And oh man, and it's really a fucked up thing that happens to people. It should be criminal. In a sense, I guess we're finding out if it is. But there was the journal of Amber Heard writing out these romantic things, and she spoke a lot like Johnny Depp did, where it was violent romance, where she goes, I love you so much. I want to devour you, dismantle you, and like feast on you from the inside out. And she was giving this very graphic romantic expression of she wants all of him, and she wants to live inside of him, essentially. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that intense feeling of connection. Where does it get toxic? Can any of you that are watching this video, if you've made it through the kind of crazy all over the place ranting that I've gotten myself into this far, can any of you connect to the idea that you've met someone, and when you see that person, you go, something about you and the atoms that make you up and the water that's making up your body and the blood that flows through your veins. I've met all of that somewhere, and I know that. And that, at least at one point, was a part of me, or it is at least now a part of me forever. And in that, you get these ideas of a primal connection and how everything about who you truly are oozes from that place of that connection, that feeling, that which we're all constantly chasing, which I truly do believe is the ultimate expression of love being manifested in the world, but we don't understand in modern day times what real love is, what it costs, what it looks like. We've romanticized it. We've put it in these systems, and we've filled out these forms and these contracts, and we've put it in these boxes. And we've made it a fairy tale where you fall in love and then you live happily ever after. And once you fall in love, that's the best part. Living happily ever after is what you can't talk about, because that's filled with life and real, and you know, it's hard to explain that happily ever after doesn't exist. Because as a part of love comes free will. And in free will, people disappoint each other. People choose other things. People walk away. People gain substance abuse issues. People develop personality traits that are unappeasing to others. And some people don't and can't move past trauma. And it forces two people to either grow apart or grow together in trauma and more toxicity and whatever. But when two people connect, whether right or wrong, on that level, and they feel comfortable expressing, like, I equate that, like when you say, yo, my kid's cheeks are so cute, I just want to chew on them. Like, it's that feeling of like, I love you so much, I just want to, it's that. It's that feeling. It's that, oh, I want to get my hands on you and just love you. Like, it is an overwhelming, it is toxic, and it is smothering, but I think it is real. And to invalidate that would invalidate the beauty of what binded them together for so long. Yes, it came with a lot of toxic. Emotions do. Vulnerability does. I'm not excusing what anyone did. But I'm saying, when people are willing to be raw and real, to the rawest and realest form, like a skinned fucking knee right after a fall, yo, when that air hits it, it can get a little spicy, yo. It fucking hurts, because the pain, when love happens, it's the binding of overcoming life's pains together. If not even just for a moment, in being together, you can forget about all the terrible shit that's ever happened to you. And again, when you found that, you can equate the feeling to that person living in your bloodstream, making you what is alive. I've harped on this enough. Let's move on. Sorry for all the ranting. So she denied the self-harm by Dr. Hughes. I got into that in the early ranting. Elaine's been pretty quiet. There's a mumbling that someone overheard a yelling match between her and Amber Heard in the back chambers of court yesterday. The exact quote from the person was, Elaine apparently said, well, if you don't like it, you can represent your fucking self. I don't know how credible that is. I looked. I could not even find a single news report on that. So the person that said it was a lawyer who has been in the courtroom. So take that for what it is. Random narrative switch when trying to leave audio. Yeah, so there was this weird moment they played in audio where they were just trying to reinforce from Johnny's side that when arguments would get to a certain point, Johnny would always try to leave. And Amber would berate him for that. What are you going to do? Go to one of your 15 houses, you fucking scumbag? Is that what a real married man does? And this is where she starts to switch from mad, angry, laughing Amber to abandonment issue Amber of please don't leave. And she starts to switch this narrative now, where now she's not laughing. Now nothing is funny. Johnny's not a fucking asshole. He's not a bad father. Now, all of a sudden, in this narrative, he's pushing her against a wall, and he's holding her when he's been saying this whole time, let me leave. Just let me go. Please let me leave. And again, where I'll bring my own story into it, I've been in rooms with someone where I'm going, please let me go. Yes, admitted. I'm gonna go drink. That's gonna fucking happen. So I'm telling you that. But I'm telling you that shit's about to happen. So get out of my fucking way, kind of thing, right? Move. No. You don't have the right to hold someone captive. Even if you think you're doing the right thing for someone, it's why I don't necessarily agree with 5150 in someone, from my own personal experience. Putting them in a psychiatric hold, if you don't know what that is. I think unless done by a judge, family members, it's tough, man. Because I'm not saying there's never situations where it happens, but I know that 5150 in people becomes a weapon sometimes. Where it's a situation where I've seen, again, I'll talk about my situation where you've been in an argument with someone, they get themselves to a place where they're capturing you into a space that you can't get out of, or a lifestyle, a marriage, or a parental thing, right? They're about to have your kid, something like that. And they're holding you in this captive space of if you leave, you're a deadbeat. If you're this, you're going to be all that. Like when Amber said, who's going to believe you, Johnny? They immediately start to talk about, well, when I spin this in the public narrative, not across the whole world like in Johnny Depp, but just in your own personal life. Well, to you, that is the whole world. What your moms, what your pops, what your friends, what the people in high school think of you. Like, we can all try to work on themselves and how much it matters, but like, it matters what people think of you. And if someone goes around trashing you from your character, and again, from that primal place of who you are, what are you supposed to do? So, again, for people like myself, and I believe Johnny Depp, who believe it in no situation okay to put your hands on a woman, you will stand there in this sense of, fuck! And sometimes you can scream like that. Sometimes you can start going at a wall because there's nowhere else to misplace this. What else am I going to do? I can't leave. I can't hit this person. So I'll break my own shit out of how else can I express this emotion? And this is where some people get. And this is where trauma happens. I can't express it because you're not fucking listening. I'm trying to express my emotions. That's failed. Now, the person is not able to receive it. I've recognized that, and I'm trying to escape the situation. I'm trying to get out of the situation. Now I can't do that. I'm confined. So now I'm a prisoner, though I'm not guilty of anything. And if I try to leave, I'm going to be assaulted. Or I'm going to be put in a situation where I could be seen as assaulting someone else. Fuck! What do you expect people to do? So when the narrative switches is, he's trying to leave and she goes, stop pushing me. Stop holding me in a corner. And he goes, Amber, I'm not pushing you. And he's trying to get her back into reality and go, look, stop. Because I've been in situations where I go, let me go. And they go, ow, stop grabbing me. And you're like, I'm not even touching you. I'm over here. But they want someone in another room or an apartment above you to hear this and call the police, because most people, especially previous to 5 years ago, most people know that in domestic violence cases, 98% of the time, if the cops show up, the guy's leaving. Very fucking rarely, unless something was obvious to have gone down, and I'm talking obvious, then the woman would be removed. But like in my situation, on one of the nights in question, where I did have to break out a fucking window because I was being trapped into a room, the police did show up, and instead of me being removed, which I'm glad I didn't, I was in my own home, she was given the choice to have a friend come pick her up. You think I would have been given that choice? Had I just slapped her the fuck around? And I had red marks and shit on my face? Or had she had that? No, fuck no. They would not have given me the opportunity for my buddy to come take me home for the night so we could work it out tomorrow. But again, a cop shows up, and there's a damn near, at the time, I was probably about my full size now, 6 foot. I was probably a little bigger then. So a cop shows up and sees that he has no right to take me anywhere, but they're going to give her the grace of, go over there. So we can't act like there's not these double standards in life. We can't. Because, again, some people do report things. Some people do, again, there are cases that exist from, the stories I've told you guys. Now, I have dropped all of them in attempts to help people and not ruin people's lives because I've been in situations where I can connect to people's pain and abandonment, and I get it. And again, I've played toxic roles in relationships. I come to all this with a true place of understanding, not from a place of judgment or hate. I don't want to see Amber Heard in 6 months commit suicide because of how people are treating her right now. I'm not saying that it's not warranted, a lot of what she's getting, but remember, she is a human being with a soul. I'll move on. Pictures after Australia. Yeah, they showed pictures where there was absolutely nothing wrong with her. There was 3 photo shoot pictures that were brought in, and Amber Heard looked completely fine. So again, this whole sexual violence that she claims happened and all the punches and all the constant beatings, there's just so much evidence to prove that it's not real. Here's one thing that's irritating as fuck. She keeps saying narrowly survived. I narrowly survived some of these occasions. No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't, because none of this happened to you, you lying ass bitch. Stop using artistic characteristic words to try to sway people. You're not smarter than other people, and that's one thing where you see hate and anger towards Amber Heard. It's because, like I put in one of my TikTok videos where I was saying watching this trial is like watching the Netflix series of your own life. If you've been in a toxic relationship, I've seen people that try to use some of this against me, where they think that they're fucking smarter than everybody else. And they go, I'm not only smarter than you, I'm smarter than your fucking mom. I'm smarter than your dad. I'm smarter than your sister. I control your kids, so I got that on lock. So fuck you. And there's nothing you can do but let them go out and just... And there's so many of us that love... through by way of living through Johnny now, is watching it going, yeah, bitch, you're caught. Look at you. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide in your fucking bullshit. All your man-made, these fucking pictures that she put out of the glass, and then she got exposed yesterday by Counselor Vasques for staging the picture of the coke. I'll say this as an addict and an alcoholic right now. I don't give a fuck what's going on. If I got 4 lines chopped up and 2 full beers on that table and shit is going poorly, those aren't going to be there before I leave. That's going to be an empty-ass table with a bunch of residue on it because I'm going to go and get the fuck out. But I'm going to do all of that as an addict if that's what I am. That's what I am. So if I'm in that situation where I've prepared this nice little meal for myself of 2 beers, 4 lines of Coke, I'm not setting that up and leaving. Not unless the cops kick the fucking door in. So for Amber Heard to have this perfectly set up situation with a tampon applicator, and she claims that her sister taught Johnny how to do that. Why are you telling on your fucking sister now? Who is going to be the only one live witness that could testify for you? Everybody else is by electronic deposition. You're a fucking moron. Now you turned on the cops, nurses, your legal team, everybody in Johnny Depp's life, and your sister. And every person who she's referred to as her best friend says, my then best friend. Also, we learned the Raquel Pennington of this case is not the UFC fighter Raquel Pennington. Hallelujah for that. That was going to bum me the fuck out. You didn't nearly survive shit. Fucking liar. She clung to him to keep him from leaving. Addicts are usually running towards home. Amber Heard is famous for not wanting Johnny to leave. I don't need to elaborate on that. I will elaborate on the fact of why Johnny always wanted to run away. I can say this as an addict myself, that I have a place in my heart, right? Place in my heart. I have a real place in my heart for dirty, grimy, shitty hotel rooms. Why do I have this? Because when I would be put in a situation with my toxic ex, when I would be put in these situations of no way out, no way to win, like Johnny said, you just don't have a voice. There's no way. You're never going to be right unless you admit to being the worst pile of shit who's ever lived ever, and even that's not going to be good enough. So once you do, like at some point, right, even they want to take a break. They have other places that they want to go, and they've got shit they got to do. So when you finally do get that distance, if you do have substance abuse issues, you have a place that's fond. For me, it's dive bars and hotels where people wouldn't be thinking to look for you, right? When I would drink and go on my benders, sure, I like to stay in nice hotels and feel like I was, living a completely different life. But most of the time, I just didn't want to be found. And going to a dive bar that most people would be afraid to go into, or a shitty hotel that no one in their right mind would pay money for, well, that's a perfect place to go and act debaucherous. Drink excessively and fucking knock shit over. No one's coming looking. They don't want to know what's problems behind that curtain. Keep your fucking curtain closed. Make sure there's not bugs anywhere. And all you're there for is to drink or smoke your weed or do whatever you want to do. It's like, or, people shoot up and they do all the types of shit. But it's like, an addict is running to what they feel is home. When the drug or the way that they idolize their drink and how that looks, for me, I romanticized for so long the idea of the dark drunk, of sitting alone in a hotel room, drinking my sorrows away, knowing that I was worrying people, but knowing that I was safe, no one could fuck with me, and I wasn't really bothering anyone. Yes, I knew people were worried about me, but it was like people worried about me for all sorts of shit. Some of it was founded and some of it wasn't. And again, I think a lot of the times when people run away like that and they go to shitty hotels or they run state lines, it's a way to go, I don't need any more of anybody else feeling bad because of me. I can't even leave without people feeling bad about me. So it's like, let me just leave and try to be myself for a minute. Even if myself brings me to my own destruction, well, God damn it, that's my choice. So again, Amber Heard wants to play like she's doing this virtuous thing. Well, I know if he leaves, he's going to go on a bender. That's not you to save him from that if that's what he wants to do. And I can respect and appreciate supporters of addicts and alcoholics, but this is the same thing Al-Anon will teach you. You cannot force them. You cannot stop them. You cannot. You can only choose to love and support them every day in the healthiest way you can. And if they choose otherwise outside of that, that's not on you. So don't take responsibility for it, but you also can't control it. And again, by doing that, or by constantly accusing an addict in recovery that every time they want space, that's what they're going to go do. Well, maybe they've been trying with everything in their body to not go do that, and you justifying it for them was the last bit that they needed to go, well, I wasn't. But you're right. It's kind of like that thing. Like, if I'm going to be accused of it, well, I might as well go do it, right? I might as well have the fun out of being accused for it. If I'm going to sit here and deal with the bullshit, at least I used to be drunk when I dealt with this. Okay. So again, just because society hasn't seen everything as normal for a long time and running off and locking yourself away for days, years, months, weeks, whatever, and sure, using some substances to cope with the things of life that don't change or won't change or that you've realized you're losing, I don't think we should be so bold as to try to make accusations on people like that. And that's exactly what Amber Heard's doing, and I don't fucking appreciate it. And I don't think a lot of other people do, too. James Franco video was showed. There wasn't much came from that. They showed the elevator video that I showed you guys a couple weeks ago, and not much came of that except we found out that Johnny Depp was on tour when that happened, so that justified why she thought it was okay to bring him up. The divorce and the TRO, she went to the courthouse. She claims that it was tragic, that there was a stream of paparazzi out there, but for some reason, her friend Raquel Pennington, not the UFC fighter, took 2 pictures of her. One was kind of a shitty picture where she clearly had a bruise on her face, or painted bruise, and the other one was kind of a further back shot. It was more of a half body shot, and she was holding her stomach like this, which was weird, almost to imply that she was pregnant and protecting a kid, and then she had the bruise. Those got pretty dismantled just in common sense, where Counselor Vasques asked Amber, was like, hey, you didn't have these bruises the day before. They showed evidence of that. You said you didn't want pictures taken of you because this wasn't something you were trying to publicize. You wanted to keep it quiet, but yet your own friend took 2 pictures of you for what reason? And she goes, I don't know why my friend would have been taking pictures of me. So you have reporters waiting outside, which, again, they're probably not allowed, or they haven't been able to connect that to her PR team of then, but I'm sure that's I guarantee that either her or one of her friends, through a PR agency, made sure there was paparazzi outside. That's why she had the bruise. That's why she was sitting around this fucked up demeanor. So, this is just getting worse for Amber Heard. I think cross-examination is almost over. I think we should be seeing a different witness here very soon. And I think from there, you're just going to see more of, people not really willing to defend Amber Heard, but just saying a whole bunch of I don't knows, I don't remembers, I don't recalls, and that will push this right into jury deliberations. And the next exciting thing that will really happen, unless there's a big curveball, will be closing arguments. So I will see you guys tomorrow for day 18, and I'm excited to see what happens after lunch. Love you.